So what I'd like to just explain to you is how the funding works in the social sector at the moment. So you register as a not-for-profit organization with the Directorate of Social Development, whose job it is to say, do we need that need met? Do we have a need that looks like this? And can you as an organization meet that need? And if the answer is yes, you can get yourself registered as a not-for-profit organization to provide that service. Once you've got that registration, you have to then try to register with another department in that, or another office in that same department of social development, where you then get registered to provide the service to the standard at which the government requires. So you may be a child and youth care centre, which is how TLC was originally registered. You may be a early childhood development centre, although I think that falls under education now. You may be a home for the elderly, or the home for the vulnerable or mentally ill, those kinds of services. If you can prove that you can provide that at the level at which they require, you can get a registration. The challenges come in for us specifically, and I'm just speaking from TLC for now, is that there are multiple channels of decision making. And although the decision might be that you are an adequate child and youth care centre, because the policy now means, or is saying, that children under 3 should no longer be institutionalized, you can't match up your service provision with the ability to get registered, which then means you can't get funding. Because you can't get that registration, you can seek funding elsewhere, which used to be platforms like the National Lotteries Commission, where they are mandated to give a portion of their earnings from the lottery takings to charity. But of course, if you don't have that registration certificate, the second one, then you are ineligible for the funding. So although the DSD would say you can't get funding from us because you are not registered with us, now what's also happening is that an independent body is saying, well, that applies for us too. So you're hamstrung in both those areas, and that's significant funding for an organization that's sort of trying to meet the needs on a very basic level. So TLC has kind of been used to this, and we've always had a strategy to try and have multiple streams of income from donors that are either private individuals, both local and international, from corporates, and from churches and groups that might help to sustain us. But you add to that the complexity of living in the world today, which everybody will know. It's hitting pockets hard. The cost of living has increased. The cost of food is quadrupled in South Africa over the last year. So trying to manage on the same amount of money is no longer viable, which means either we have to reduce the service we provide, or we have to increase our income, and we can't lean on the strategies we used to. So I'm reaching out to you to say, is there any way in your network you could get a few more people to help us sustain ourselves? To really go and just say, can I commit to a track of time, let's say a year, to give you an extra $50, €100, whatever it is that you can afford or your network can afford, and put that in every month religiously, so that we have a sustained runway to provide for these needs. Because remember, the needs we're servicing are relationship based. We're not just here to feed a tummy today and then tomorrow it's someone else's problem. The children that we are getting are critically vulnerable. They are children who have been disconnected from their communities, who are at a loss for belonging in a community, and we are trying to provide that need. And that is a whole person, right? These little babies, these little children, they are not just tummies to be fed. They are an entire universe of possibilities, and unless we meet all their needs, we'll never see them reach their potential. So whether it be their medical needs, or their food needs, or their educational needs, or their relationship and emotional needs, we're meeting all of that, and everything comes at a cost. From diapers to educational assessments, we have to do it all. We are the proxy parents for these children, and we cannot do it alone. And so without the government support and without access to the funding we used to get, the only thing left to us is to reach out to the world and to say, look, what we're doing matters. It matters, and you know it in your soul. People know that it's the right thing to look after children, keep them safe, and help them become the next generation of leaders in our world. Unless we can do that properly, we are just setting ourselves up for a disaster. So please consider that. Reach out to us, think about how you can help, and help us sustain ourselves in the long term.